I'm Coral. I am 68 years old.
My name is Kara. I am 43 years old.
I'm Amy. I am 46.
My name is Jamie. I'm 41.
Hi, I'm Erin. I'm 45 years old.
Hi, my name is Katie. I am 52 years old.
I'm Angela. I'm 45.
I'm Nicole. I am 45.
Welcome back to Interwoven's third season, featuring conversations centered on care and on celebrating and supporting women in middle life. We are thrilled this season to exchange support with In Context, Inc., Not Your Mother's digital marketing agency. From customized websites to SEO, they work with you at your pace, within your budget, and ensure that you feel seen and heard at all times. Visit incontextseo.com/interwoven to learn more. In today's episode, Amy and Jamie talk about showing up for yourself every day, acting on big dreams, staying true to yourself, making new choices, and choosing relationships that lift you up. A huge thank you to this month's featured musicians, Janet Ransdell and Susie Muehlbauer, for their contributions. Remember to hit subscribe so you can be the first to know about new episodes, and visit our website so that you can sign up for our newsletter, register for community events, and access all of our resources. Find us at interwoven.com. That's INTERWOVXN.com.
I'm Amy. I am a 46-year-old sales professional and aspiring entrepreneur. And I'm an avid reader, personal development junkie. I'm also a Leo sun, Virgo rising, and my love language is quality time.
Hey everyone, my name is Jamie. I'm a 41-year-old single mom. I have two boys. I'm an 8th grade ELA teacher, English language arts. I am a Capricorn sun, Leo rising, Taurus moon. I love everything from writing to deep conversations about life to running to reading tarot cards and rolling around in the sun on a weird day. And my Enneagram is 2, which means I need love always and I will serve you to get love. So I'm working through those things.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Amy. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm happy to be here and have this conversation with you.
You know, I'm really happy to celebrate our friendiversary. Is this 10 or 12 years? Something, I think it might be 12 years, our 12-year friendiversary.
Do you remember how we became friends?
Yes, we used to work out together and we met through an ex-girlfriend of mine. Then we just started running together. I think a lot of our friendships started around running and drinking beer. A lot of that. And then we moved into a little bit more uncovering our inner child work. I love how we started out as friends and like where we are now. We're so much deeper. And I don't know about you, but like I feel like we've always been each other's cheerleaders. Like, yeah, I think you should write a book. Yeah, I think you should start a whole new business. You and I have always been the ones. And you're a little bit annoying because you always ask the annoying questions like, what's your goal? I'm like, I didn't think about that. But again, we're like the touchstones for each other, right? And we push each other a little bit each time.
We did start out like as running friends. And I remember the time that our friendship went to the next level during a run. We've told this story many times, but I think this really signifies really what type of friendship that we have. And we were doing a run. You were running with two of your really good friends. And I was kind of like a tag along. Like I was just happy to have somebody to do the run with. And we were dressed up for Halloween. And so you were running, you had like an injury or something. And you stopped over to the side and I was running behind you guys. So I saw you and I stopped and I kind of didn't want to stop because it was one of the first races I felt strong enough to see how fast I could go. So I kind of wanted to time myself. For the record, I'm a very slow runner, so I'm not winning any races, but I was like, hey, I'm just curious, like how fast. And so I was kind of in that conflict of, do I stop for this person that needs maybe some emotional support, maybe some physical support? I didn't know how injured you were. Or do I, like, that's the more selfless choice. Or do I just say, I don't really know this person. I'm sure she's fine. I'm just going to keep going down my path. I decided to stop. You ended up really breaking down and crying. Like in this run, there were like hundreds of people. I didn't really know you that well. And I was just like, and I'm somebody that's super uncomfortable with like feelings and emotions. And you're the exact opposite of that. Like you're all in your feelings. And I'm like, please don't share them with me. I'd rather not hear about it. And I was just like, I don't know what to do. You know, so I just kind of waited. You kind of were saying some things and we ran the rest of the race together, which was 9 miles. At some point we were talking, which I hate talking during runs.
I will say as a side note, every time I run with Amy, she says, "Don't talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
You can run by me, but don't talk to me." So that's the rule. And then
Mm-hmm.
somehow we always end up talking, or I do. And then she's
Mm-hmm.
quiet and I'm okay with that.
At some point you came out to me as gay, or maybe you had already come out as gay, but you said that you were in a gay relationship with somebody that I thought you were just friends with. I just didn't know what to say. And again, I felt like it wasn't really public knowledge, but it was definitely a part of me that felt really special that you had shared that with me. And so I really wanted to honor you in expressing that relationship. It was obviously very special to you. That was really, for me, the pivotal part of our friendship. And I always joke every time I do a run with Jamie, I'm always like, what the hell are you gonna confess to me? Because every other time she would like have this other
Epiphany or breakthrough. Yeah, I've always wanted to start like a running therapy club, because I feel like once I start running, because I'm not looking at you, I'm just running side by side and I just like vomit all the things. It is interesting. And I do feel like that is a very pivotal moment. And every time you and I have run since, it's been very much like, okay, I have to tell you this. Or, oh, I just came up with this idea, which kind of makes us look forward to running together, because it's like, what's going to be the new thing?
And I think that also brings up a interesting point about the dynamics between our, like, what makes us the same but different is that for me, and maybe this is one of the reasons why I connect with you, is because you are a super emotional person. I am not a super emotional person. Also, I mean, that's just, I think logistically, we're both in our 40s, and you can share as much of this as you want, but just laying this out. You were married to a
I
man,
was.
and you
Yes,
have
I was
2
straight.
sons. You are gay.
I'm glad you didn't
And
whisper that.
I know
It's
that's a whole
taken Amy a
nother,
minute to not
yeah.
whisper gay
Yeah,
lesbian.
I would. So you have 2 kids and you are gay and unmarried now. I am straight, never married, no kids. And I feel like we have we love talking about relationships, like coming together and talking about, why do you think that is? Why do you think?
Well, I was going to say, I definitely think that is something you and I have always talked about, because we push each other to be better. And so after like a relationship ends, it's been like, okay, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? I am a very emotional person, except when it comes to relationships, which is something that I'm trying to figure out. And I am a very emotional person, but I found that in my relationships, I'm very emotionally unavailable. And I know that you and I have talked about that a lot, because the more someone gets close to me, I'm so terrified that I'm going to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, and then they're not going to love me anymore, because, I'm working on choosing myself and loving myself all the way wholeheartedly. And I think that's something you and I have in common amongst millions of other women and men. This whole idea that if someone doesn't choose me or someone doesn't love me, then I am not worthy, or I am not worth it, or I was not enough. And I know in my past relationships, I've really struggled with thinking I wasn't enough. I wasn't a great enough partner or whatever. And so that's why they didn't want to be with me forever or start a life together. And I questioned a lot of what happened, I think, with me and my marriage. So I was married to just a wonderful man, and we had 2 amazing kids. And I kind of blew my whole life up at 30 years old. I thought, yep, let's do all of the things. And people were not happy with me and my life, but I just kept thinking like, I can't keep living the way I don't think I should be living. And I really love women, and I feel whole with women, and I don't think I should feel this way, because I also grew up I went to Lutheran schools my whole life and conservative family, and I was never around gay people. And so it took me probably 6-7 years to even come out to my entire family. But a lot of that was so internal, like, well, I'm gay, so I don't deserve all the things. Well, because I blew up my life, I won't ever truly find the happiness. I'm just going to have to settle. And I think in doing that, I kept looking for love in other people. I was emotionally unavailable because I wanted them. I wanted to be who they wanted me to be, instead of understanding that, like, I can be exactly who I need to be. And if we don't mesh, or if I say something that upsets them, it doesn't mean they don't like me. If I say something we don't agree with, it doesn't mean they don't like me. It just means that we have differences of opinions. And maybe also I've never been with anyone that's willing to sit down and have the conversations without also blowing up or getting upset, which I can't stand when people yell at me. I can't stand when people get upset with me, which is a whole nother suitcase that I could bring into the conversation. But yelling, anything that makes me feel unsafe, I will fix the situation. I'm super sorry. What can I do? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or I just completely put the wall up and walk away. And I think that you and I have worked a lot just as friends, right? Like, getting together and talking about like why this happens. Because I think when I tell my friends, they're like, oh my gosh, you're so emotional and you're so open and you say all the things on your mind. But I'm not scared to lose my friends. There's something different about when you know your friends love you no matter what. That is a completely different feeling than wanting someone to, and I hate to use the word choose, wanting someone to be like, I want you to be my life forever. And again, like my friends don't see me naked. My friends don't see me on my worst days. I mean, and sometimes they do, but I think that is something that you and I have really worked on a lot. And just this last year, we've kind of come into our own with that, which is why I really value as my friend. There's not a lot of people that can grow all the way with you and call each other out. You and I have a lot of conversations where it's like, well, I mean, why do you shut down? Or why do you do this? Or why do you do that? Those are hard questions to answer. But I think if you have a friend that's willing to ask those questions, it makes everything so much better and deeper. And this last year, I feel like I've come into this place of I only want people in my life that are high vibrational. It's very true. Like once you're able to really surround yourself with people that lift you up and fill you up and make you feel lighter as much as you do to them, there's just no going back. And that's including love, whatever love is. That's including love in that I don't want to ever dim my light. I don't ever want someone to say, you're too much, or you're too loud, or you're involved in too many things, or you're too passionate. I think that's finally where I am. And that's how I'm showing up in the world, because if I want to attract a different person, I need to be a different person. I think it's really hard to do at first. We always think different is bad. How many of us are, oh, that's different, that's got to be bad.
And now you moved into an attraction. You're attracting what you need and what nourishes you. Can you pinpoint what was that shift? Was there something that happened? Did you have a turning point? Was there a moment where you were just like, this is just not how I want to live my life anymore?
Yeah. After about a year ago, my girlfriend and I broke up, and I lost myself in her twice. I think after the second time, we have a cabin up north, and I went up there, and I just remember laying there thinking like, I just don't want this. I don't want to feel like this again. Then I went back into the work, right? I had already started doing the work on digging deep into your inner child, and I got all the books, and I've done all the writing, and I've cried all the tears. After that, I feel like I isolated, not in a negative way. So I'm recovering. I'm a recovering people pleaser. I am now acknowledging I'm a love bomber in relationships. I will bomb the crap out of you with all my love so that you love me so much. And then all of a sudden, I realize I need nothing back. And then I'm feeling empty. So I just started love bombing myself, taking myself on dates, buying myself cute outfits, telling myself how sexy I am. I'm the person at the gym taking all the selfies. And I stopped caring what other people thought. I stopped putting validation in what other people thought, which was really hard to do. It was sometime in end of March this last year. I flew to Colorado, and I remember driving on the freeway and the mountains came up, and I remember crying. And like I started crying because I was overwhelmed with happiness that I did this myself. I did not need anybody else with me, and I was so content and I was so happy. It was a moment like that where all of a sudden I was like, anyone who comes into my life has to add to it. They have to add to it. And so then after that, I took my boys to, we went to Florida and had a phenomenal time. I went camping by myself and taught myself how to light a fire. And after that, I thought, I am just going to live my life so out loud that if anyone wants to come in, they can come in. It's almost like I just decided, what's the person that I want to be? And I'm just going to be that person every day. And I don't care what anyone thinks.
Relationship dating experts say it all the time. And I've heard it for years. And then like you, at one point it was like, okay, actually I can do all these things for myself. I can make myself dinner, and I can, look at myself in the mirror and say nice things to myself. Sometimes it's just those really basic things. It doesn't have to be something big. It doesn't have to be a lot of work. It can just be in those really small moments where you feel those limiting beliefs come in, like, I'm not enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not skinny enough. You can disrupt that voice and say, are you sure? I think that's one of my most favorite questions right now, is when I start to second guess myself, is to ask, are you sure? Are you absolutely sure that this is true? Whether it's, you think somebody is talking about you behind your back or saying something negative or whatever it is, just stopping and asking yourself, are you sure? Which I got from Katie Byron. She's an excellent personal development expert, and she has a book out. I think it's called The Work by Katie Byron. The epiphany that I really had was that, like you, I am a recovering people pleaser, where I had spent all of my adulthood from probably 21 to, 43, 44, just doing what I needed to do to make other people like me, accept me. I did that because for me personally, I did it because in my work life, I did it because it meant financial security. I'm working with all men. I need them to love and accept, not love me, but love my work, accept me, because that means I'm going to be part of the tribe. It means I have job security. It means that I belong. Like I just wanted to belong, which is a natural human desire, but just that need to belong was just so ingrained in me. When I was able to take a step back and realize like, hey, I'm going to these happy hours. I'm having these types of conversations, and they aren't really things that I want to do. They're not things that are nourishing me. They're not things that are helping me. There were some other details, in the situation that were more deeply rooted that went against my moral code and my moral compass. And I also think that in your 40s, like there's this shift. You're not going to live forever. Like my dad had passed away when I was 40, and that really triggered a change in me in terms of my perspective and what I was doing with my life. It was really this moment where I thought, is this really how I want to live my life? Who I really want to be? I, really had just done the work, and I got really clear on what my moral compass was and how I was out of integrity with myself. I was living a life out of integrity, and everyone around me would never have known this. Like if anyone is listening to this that knows me, they would be like, Amy, you're the happiest person. You love your life. Everything is great. I wouldn't say that's a complete lie because I do have a really good life, but on the inside, I was just self-abandoning every single day, every conversation, a little by little by little. And it was just killing me. It was absolutely killing me to a point where I think that when the pandemic hit and I had that alone time, I had nowhere to run. I was just there with myself and my thoughts. And I had to really look at myself and say, is this who I want to be? And at the end of the day, the pivotal moment was I kind of was just like, I don't have anything to lose. Like a lot of things that like when I'm trying to make a decision, what I envision myself on my deathbed. I'm 86, 89, however old I am. And I'm on my deathbed and I'm looking back on my life and I'm saying, am I proud of the way that I showed up? Not how much money do I have? Not even how many friends do I have? It's, am I proud of the person that I showed up as? Did I take the easy way out, or did I take the more difficult path that made a stronger impact on my life and the people around me? And I just knew that if I continued down the path that I was going and I continued to self-abandon, I would look back on my life and I would have just been so disappointed in myself. And at some point, that's enough to say it really felt like a crossroads and really took the path that was more in line with my integrity, which did cause a lot of waves for me, internally and externally. And I'm still working through it, but I have to say that it was very, very difficult. And the most difficult thing that I've ever gone through. I can say that it's not easy. My life isn't easy right now. I really just kind of blew it up and now I'm putting the pieces back together, but I've never felt more free and more happy in my entire life. And it's that sense of freedom that allowed me to then say, oh, I am free. Like I had a therapist that told me an analogy as I was kind of working through this challenge. And she said, Amy, she said, when I look at you, I see you as somebody that is hung up on a coat rack, like has the back of your collar up on a coat rack. And you don't realize that you can actually take yourself off the coat rack. You don't have to stay there. You can make a different choice anytime. You are not controlled by the thoughts and actions of other people. That was a big epiphany for me. And then when you kind of have that feeling like, oh my gosh, I am free to live my life, which sounds really silly, but I am free to live my life however I want to. What do I want to do? Who do I want to be? Who do I want to surround myself with? Because I know that the more people that aren't serving me, that aren't nourishing me, that aren't, if that person cannot show up as my biggest cheerleader, then you're not going to have a lot of my time. And that just gives room for other people that are nourishing me, that also I can nourish them. I think that's the key, is that I want to be able to give to other people in the same way that I want to be given to. I mean, that's kind of where I came from in that point. Yeah. And I don't regret it one bit, but it's that sense of freedom that I think specifically as women, we all really have. And I think that as a society, and I just think about control and freedom, it's just become such a mission of mine to say specifically for women that we are in control of our lives. We are the ones that have the ability to speak up, to say what isn't right for us, and to do something about it. It's over. And I think as women, we need to be the ones that step up. We cannot wait for permission. Do you have anything else you want to say about that? Or?
Yeah, I do. I wrote so many things down as you were talking. I'm sorry, I'm a note taker because I lose my train of thought. But I mean, I guess I'll just sit on making a new choice, right? That really hit me hard a while ago. So I'm a teacher. I've been teaching 8 years, 9 years if you count my 1 year of substitute teaching, which was insane. I don't know if this is where I'm supposed to be anymore. And it's terrifying. It took me a long time to even hit that. And it's terrifying to think I worked so hard to get here and now I'm here and I don't know if this is where I want to be. So the whole idea of you can make a new choice whenever you want, but when you do make a choice, other people don't understand, whether it's ending a relationship, ending a friendship, moving out of state, quitting your job and taking a right-hand turn. Everyone wants to know why. A lot of it is just because people care about us. And sometimes the answer can just be because I wanted to, or you don't even have to have an answer. And I think as women, we're always so accustomed to having an answer for everything. Or now I need to explain myself in order for you to say it's okay that I'm making this decision. And I'm also trying to get better at I don't need to explain myself to you. And I think that whole idea of even you being on this coat rack, right? Well, this is where I am now. I can't jump down. I just have to wait. I have to wait. And at the end of the day, what are you waiting for? That is a driving force right now in my life. I do remember a moment when I thought about do I get divorced? Do I not? And I remember thinking maybe I'll just wait. Is it really that big of a deal? But at the same time, why can't I just start my life now? We always wait for either a perfect moment or the sign, right? The signs are all around us. And whether you pray or meditate, the answers are coming to you. It's just a matter of, are you willing to listen? And I think a lot of us are so scared that when we hear the answer and it's not the answer we want, we don't want to do it. That self-abandoning and blowing up your life. I don't know about you, but every time I blow up my life, really great things happen. It is terrifying in the moment, but then so many great things happen because of it. I really like the idea of giving ourselves permission to make a new choice and not having to explain ourselves to anyone.
I had a mom that loved me, but was trying to protect me. And so she was like, maybe that's not for you. Maybe came from a very traditional background where boys have a lot of options and are supported in a lot of ways. And women are more, hey, you should just get married and have children. And that should be your path. And if I didn't want to do that, if I want to do something outside of that, it was kind of are you sure? It just wasn't as encouraged. And so having that kind of in my mind my whole life, oh my God, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. But wanting to do X, Y, and Z and take the chance and take the risk was always met with this voice from, my childhood that said, probably going to end up broke, hurt, unloved. No one's going to love you if you want to have a certain type of career, if you want to do certain activities. Hearing that voice of saying, if you want to make six figures, if you want to run that marathon, you're probably not going to get married, you're probably not going to have kids. Those two things don't exist. And so there was all of these limiting beliefs that said, this isn't for you. Or was that if you want to do those things, that means there's something wrong with you. It means you are a bad person. And I only know that those soundtracks live in my head because of the immense amount of therapy that I've gone through. It comes back to this fear of not being a good person. I am a good person.
The idea of being a good person. I think you've said this before. What if there was no good, no bad? There's no good. There's just people. This whole idea that if we don't do things a certain way, our life won't turn out a certain way. But I've been finding more and more that the people that are so scared are also the ones that are terrified of everything. I think of my boys sometimes, and they're both at these adventure-seeking, crazy snowboard, mountain biking. I mean, these boys are going to travel the world. And as their mom, anything they want to do, I'm always like, yep, go. And am I scared for them? Of course. But I would never be like, oh, why do you want to snowboard again? Didn't you just do that yesterday?
I heard this from somebody, so I can't take credit for it, but it's when your success reminds other people of their own failure. I just want to be allowed to be whoever I want to be, and you can be whoever you want to be. And I think that one of the revelations that I've had specifically with doing the book club is that I believe that by being success and by being vocal about about your success, that you are empowering other
Yeah.
women to also step into the light. And that is what we really need. That's what I truly believe.
Yeah.
We need more women that are going to step into the light. Other women are going to be there to support them.
I think we have to start seeing women, and I will keep saying men too, but like we need to start seeing ourselves as, if I'm telling you, I just ran this marathon. Oh my gosh, can you believe I just did that? At the end of the day, if there's no one else around, I have to be the one to do that for myself. I have to be the one proud of myself, getting myself to the gym, getting myself to the run, getting myself to sit down and write, even though I don't want to, getting myself to maybe start a new career or something different. And if we can't do that for ourselves, I know it's so much easier to do that for other people, but I think we need to encourage each other to like, no, I want you to tell me how amazing you are. It just seems like we don't truly love who we are. We don't love our shadow part. We don't love our positive part, but yet we want everybody else to love all of our flaws and all of our positivity, but we don't even love that about ourselves. And I think the more we sit with that, when you really look at all the parts of yourself, and then you're able to say like, but I love you anyway, and I get to love this also.
One quick thing just on that, and then I have a question for you. But what I thought of when you said that was that phrase of, it's okay to accept where you are and also want more. You know, it's not one or the other. They both coexist. I accept who I am and I also want more. And it's okay if you're somebody that doesn't want more and you're like, hey, I'm really happy. I mean, I think it's just a matter of wanting to accept everybody for where they are. We talked about the word humble, and I feel like we've talked about this in the past, your history with need to feel humble.
I just think in general, but like I don't like talking about myself. I don't like boasting about myself. I've done a lot of things. Sometimes like I keep a list of like all the things. I'm like, I want to tell everybody these things. But then that's like bragging and gloaty. So how do you brag on yourself while still staying humble? Or is it really just about knowing that there'll be a time and a place to talk about yourself? Yes, I am a Leo rising. When's the spotlight on me? I think that there is also something very charming about people who have done a lot with their life. They know when and where to put the stories. It doesn't need to all come out right now, right here. They know when and where to place the story and how to say it in a way that doesn't come off as, guess what I did.
I'd be curious what you think about this, but for me, I feel like it isn't about saying what I've done. It's about doing the things that are important to me. I'm a Leo sun. I'm like all in my ego, but I hate talking about the things that I've done because I believe in actions speak louder than words. So Jamie, what is the most helpful thing you are doing for yourself right now?
The most helpful thing I'm doing for myself right now, journaling every day. And when I journal, I ask a lot of questions. Why am I feeling this way? What am I doing? Is this the right way? I ask myself a lot of questions without any prejudgment around it. I judge myself a lot and I overthink a lot. And I think it's helpful because it's allowing me space to look at all the different possibilities without having to choose one at all. The other thing that I do is I pull a tarot card just to journal around that. So that I just have some ideas as to what's going on in my life right now. And the third thing I'm doing is that if the energy is not an absolutely yes, I'm saying no. And that's even toward things that I'm not always sure about. But if my body's like, yep, I want to do that, I'm leaning into that. It's taken me some pretty cool places. What about you?
I would say the most helpful thing that I'm doing right now is really being aware of my thoughts and what I'm thinking, really leaning into giving to myself what I have historically looked to receive from somebody else. For example, it's really important to me in a partnership to, I've identified 3 words: feel seen, secure, and supported. Those are the 3 feelings that I've identified for myself that feel really just like, if I had those 3 things from a partnership, it would be the perfect partnership. I think it's okay to say this is what I want in a partner, but then at the end of the day, how am I giving those things to myself? So how am I seeing myself? How am I creating more security in my life? And how am I showing myself that I support myself throughout the day as those kind of negative thoughts seep in, coming back to that question: are you sure? Are you sure? Is this really true? Am I showing up for myself? Am I allowing myself to be seen, secure, and supported? So I would say that's really the really basic thing that has really kind of getting me through and into a space of just being happy. I think we all just want to be happy. There's different words that you can do, but the other phrase that I really cling to is feeling peace and joy. If I want to feel peace and I want to feel joy, those are the two things that I think it's interesting, because most of my life I have chased material objects. This is the amount of money that I need to make in order to be happy. And into my 40s, really just yearning for that feeling of peacefulness and joy. And those things really come from, it doesn't cost you anything to be able to do that.
That's that yes energy. That's that peaceful energy. And I think that there's something that sometimes we think, well, I'm not feeling anything, so I shouldn't do this. Or now I'm bored. Instead of realizing, no, that's just your body at peace and calm with whatever you're doing or whoever you're with. And I think sometimes we don't notice, this is a really great moment. These are more things I should be doing. I do have one question for you. You said feeling seen, secured, and supported. I love the idea of feeling seen. I would love that in my life. What does that mean to you, to feel seen?
Oh gosh, good question. I would say feeling seen is feeling validated, honoring myself, other people honoring me, either through their actions. From an outside person, it would be about having a friend. Whenever we have conversations and you're listening to me, when you're just quiet and you're just all into whatever I'm saying, like to me, that feels like being seen. For me, to see myself would be to journal about what I'm thinking and feeling, is a way to honor and see myself. Well, Jamie, we have these conversations all the time, but I feel so honored and grateful to be able to have this conversation with you and to have you as a friend. I think this is a fantastic way to say I honor you as a friend, and really am excited to see how your life unfolds and feel very grateful to be able to be a witness to that. So yeah, this was great.
Well, I appreciate you seeing me, and you make me feel secure and you make me feel supported. So thank you so much for that. Yes. I mean, this is a great way to celebrate our 12-year anniversary, and I'm just so blessed that you came to those workouts and you wanted to run some races with me. You're one of my favorite faces.
I love you too.
Thanks for joining us today. We invite you to hit subscribe and to keep coming back each week for a new empowering conversation. We look forward to seeing you at our website, where you'll find our newsletter, event dates, and other amazing resources. Visit interwoven.com, that's interwovxn.com, to sign up today. This show's copyright is January of 2023. We want to thank In Context Inc., digital marketing agency, and the Sugar Maple Bar for their support this season, as well as our producers, Teresa Kopak, Rebecca Jankowski, and Jen Gilmore. All original music was created and performed by Janet Ransdell and Susie Muehlbauer.